And welcome everybody to WTL Where's the Line, Nebraska's only sports betting show. Joined by
Gibran.
the Parlay Packer.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get after it. Yes, we're gonna get after it here today.
Yeah.
We got a full slate of college football.
Nothing but college football.
This is
week 1.
This is week 1 college football kickoff.
And I didn't like week 0, so we're talking about week 1.
I don't know if you're going to find anybody in the Cornhusker State that did like week 0. In fact, it doesn't count. It was 0.
Yeah.
Give it up. I'm tired of it.
And it was in Ireland. It's not even American
It wasn't
football.
even on American soil.
Right.
So,
I don't care.
Yep, we can write that one off. Do-over, week 1, the real week 1.
Yeah.
Here we go. So let's open it up with some Thursday night football. And this is a pretty good slate here. We got Oklahoma State, Central Michigan, Penn State, Purdue, another conference matchup there in the Big Ten, a big one too. And New Mexico State heading on up to Minnesota for an 8 o'clock kickoff featured on the BTN network. But let's start with the first game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, Central Michigan. That's at 6 p.m. FS1. Big line.
Yeah, big line.
To be expected.
Yeah.
Pretty big over-under as well. 59.5. Where do you want to start? What I'm seeing is a point spread of 21.5.
Yeah, some books you can still find it at 21. Most are going to have it at 21.5 right now, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And that over under has been at 59.5. I think it's trending more towards 60. I have seen it on some books at 60. Right now, I think I might be rolling with the Central Michigan Chippewas to cover that 21 points.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a little backstory. Probably most people don't know about Central Michigan, and I didn't until I researched them a little bit.
Why would you?
Yeah, the Chippewas went 9-4 last year, so they're no slouch. Hailing from the MAC conference, got their first bowl win in a decade last year. So this is a team that's kind of trending up, not trending up as big as the Oklahoma State Cowboys did last year, the reigning Big 12 champions. What I'm finding out about the Oklahoma State team is that they lost a lot of stuff on the defensive side of the ball.
They did.
And I really think this early game, I just don't see them, jumping out to as big a lead as 3 touchdowns and sustaining that without, letting Central Michigan kind of put up some points.
Oh, okay, so what I took from that was you think Oklahoma State can win by more than 3 touchdowns.
I think Oklahoma State can do it. I'm just kind of scared of that line.
Yeah, it's a big line.
It's a big line, and I just don't know enough about Chippewas' offense. Can they score a lot of points? The one thing I will say, Andy, is my best bet of this segment, I believe, is this under 60. I really don't like it. I really don't like it.
Oh man!
I think this game's gonna.
We're gonna disagree right off the get go here. Okay.
I just think the Chippewas are gonna keep this thing close, and I think it's gonna be a slow paced game.
Okay, so the Chippewas lost their number 1 offensive player, which was their left tackle. He went high in the draft.
Yep.
But last year their offense was 4th in college football, averaged over 57 points per game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, you know what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're towards the top every year. In the Big 12, it's just a shootout every game. They have Spencer Sanders, a 4-year starter at quarterback.
Yep.
Gundy, the coach. Oh, man.
I'm 40. He's 40.
I mean, he's like 47 now, 48. He's been there 18 years.
Yes, he has.
And I think he is a big reason. I mean, I know he destroyed my faith in Bill Callahan, Billy C. back in the day.
No doubt. He put it on us.
Oh, my God. I still remember that day. Like, I got off work early, zoomed home, and we're already down by 14. Like, okay, all right, now we got him right where we want him. We're going to come back now. And it just got worse, and we got tossed out of 2 or 3 bars that night. But anyhow, I think I like the over on this one. I think these two teams, and Oklahoma State's like, oh, you want to do a shootout?
Yeah.
We'll do a shootout. And you already talked about how Oklahoma State lost a lot of defense.
Yeah.
And if the Chippewas, that might be their best chance to win. It's crazy to say that.
Yeah.
But to get in the shootout, I think is more conducive for them to pull this off than to try and play keep away or go back and forth. Just like in week 0.
Yeah.
With these big point spreads.
Yeah.
You don't need to get wild. You don't need to get crazy.
No, I agree with you. And just like we said, you research these teams as much as you can. With these lower echelon teams that come out of the MAC and the other conferences besides the Power 5, it's really hard to get a read on them. I do like Oklahoma State to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's no value in the money line, but I really don't like betting that 21.5. I just think it's right there where they're going to win at. But I do like that under. So we are splitting on that.
Okay, we're going to split on that. I mean, Oklahoma State's coming off a Fiesta Bowl win where they put it on Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
So they're confident. They're coming back, and I think they're looking to make a statement.
Okay.
And kind of, they're the defending Big 12 champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and everyone's just talking about Texas or Oklahoma.
Yeah.
On the way out. I think Oklahoma State has something to prove, and they're going to start, in a big fashion here.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to maybe a little bit bigger of a game.
Yeah.
Kickoff at 7 p.m. on Fox. Penn State, Purdue. Now, this line is close, as it should be. I think we both agree this is spot on. I got Penn State as a favorite, -3. They're a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, some books, Andy, have it at 3.5, but I think it will trend down as closer as we get to the weekend here, or as close as we get to game time on Thursday night. I see this getting down to about 3, maybe 2.5 point spread, just because Purdue is the home team in this matchup.
You're right.
The over/under's sitting pretty steady at 52. I've seen it other places at 51.5, but I think it will stay right around that 52.
Yeah, I got it at 52.5 on the book I'm looking at right now.
Yep. I think you're gonna hate me again here, Andy, because I'm gonna roll with a Big Ten dog on Big Ten. A road team.
Road
in the
dog.
Big Ten.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're not a dog. They are picked to win or whatever. I do see this game. I think it's going to be kind of a little bit of a shootout. I'm predicting Penn State winning this game like 30-24.
Yeah.
With Penn State getting a really big key stop late.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really will. I'll go along with that, and I think the money line, is pretty good here. It's fair. It's balanced. -160, 140 for Purdue.
Yeah.
So nobody's a big favorite. Nobody's a big dog here.
Exactly.
And if you would have went with the home team as the winner on your pick, I wouldn't have caused much of a scuff at that either. And because I believe in Brom. I believe in what they got going on.
For sure.
At Purdue, at West Lafayette. And Penn State's, they've taken their lumps the last couple of years.
They have.
They've underperformed. They haven't been where people thought they was. So I'll go along with you on that one. I will go ahead and take Penn State on the road.
Yeah.
It's only a 3-point favorite here. And if
you
get under that,
for sure,
maybe look at that.
Yeah, but I do like looking at the under a little bit there, Andy, just because this is a Big Ten matchup. These two are. It's going to be they're a little bit of a feeling out game here in the first half. I think. I don't think these it's going to be a shootout like right away. No. I think once these two teams feel themselves out, get into that second half, they might score in a little bit of points. One thing I do want to say is I don't think that Penn State is going to stop O'Connell, which is the Purdue quarterback.
Yeah.
They're going to score some points. They're going to score some points.
Yes.
But I do think they will come up with some key stops, like I said, at the end of the game that will overcome them for and just take that win for the Nittany Lions.
Now, what'd you say on the? Did you touch on the over?
Yes, it's 52.5. I do like the under.
You like the under?
I do. I just think that they're gonna, be playing this little cat and mouse game.
You're beating that big old Purdue drum. That big old drum, the Aiden O'Connell drum, we'll call it. I mean, he passed for 72%. 72% completion percentage last year. Meanwhile, Penn State rolls in with Sean Clifford, a senior, multiple-year starter, already has, I think, passing yards and touchdowns, Penn State records, which is unbelievable. So you got two prolific quarterbacks. I think they're going to light up the scoreboard. I like the over here. I agree with you. There might be a feeling out process where they don't show their hand early, but you also have a couple of coaches that are offensive minded. They might want to light up early as well. But I mean, once you get into that second, especially into the second half, I think they're going to the gloves are off, quarterbacks slinging it all over the place, and these are two of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
For sure.
I like the over. I'll stick with you, though, on Penn State.
Okay. Yeah, no, this could definitely go over, man. This could be a 60 over if it gets into a really, really, tight shootout at the end of the game. But like I said, I'm looking at that 28-24, 27-21 kind of game here.
Yeah.
And I do think the under will hit, but I don't think I'll have the stones enough to throw it on my book.
All right. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, so let's wrap it up with the 8 o'clock kickoff on BTN.
Yeah.
New Mexico State traveling up to Minnesota to play the Golden Gophers. This is a wide game. This is a wide margin.
Yeah.
We're at 36.5, I think I'm looking at.
Yeah, my book has it at 37 right now, Andy. And believe it or not, the point spread is 37, and the over-under is sitting right at 52.5, just like the last game we were talking about. I'll tell you one thing that I know for sure, that this New Mexico Aggies team is in for a hurting on this game.
They are.
It's just they're in for not just a rough game. They're in for a rough season. They only won 2 games last year and lost their Saturday home opener against Nevada 23-12, which really doesn't trend well for them coming into a Big Ten hostile environment against the Golden Gophers. And the Golden Gophers might have one of the best defenses in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they got some ballers.
So I really don't see the Aggies scoring maybe at all. So
they're making some money for the sports department, though.
I agree. I agree, Andy. But I do really see a formidable way for this Golden Gophers team to cover this 37 points.
Okay.
In this game still to be an under, which is just absolutely nuts because it's just right there,
PJ Fleck's nuts. I mean, it kind of fits these guys, doesn't it?
He does. He does.
Like, this is insane, and you know what? I really don't have much of an argument for you there.
Yeah.
I just hate those point spreads that are that wide, but, back in the day, I remember, Nebraska would have spreads like that, and they'd cover them all the time.
Yeah, they played Florida Atlantic, and it'd be 45-point spread, and we'd put 52-0 on them.
I mean, they scored 42 points before they even got the second string in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still liked the second string before I liked the opposing team, Pacific, or whoever it was.
Yeah.
No
doubt. But, with this one, the Aggies will probably have one of the lowest scoring teams in the entire FBS this year, Andy.
Yeah.
And Minnesota just has an outstanding defense.
Right.
And I think it's just going to put them in great positions to score a lot of points. I am rocking with the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Woo!
At a minus 37, which is just absolutely nuts.
What do you call it? Rowing the boat?
Rowed a boat.
But not too much,
Not too much,
because they're not going to go over, huh?
I do not think it's going to go over, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Nah.
But I do believe in this 37-point spread.
And hey, shop it around. I'm seeing 36. I'm seeing 37 on different books.
Yeah.
So hey, you can maybe get your value there.
No doubt.
Because I like that as well. I think that's. The Aggies, they're New Mexico State. They're just up there for that payday.
They are.
They are. That's
and
what this
like
one's
we
all
said,
about.
they're coming off of a loss already against Nevada, and they are just going to kind of be, kind of in a drought, in a slump, so to speak. And Minnesota's really going to hurt them.
Well, hey, before we send it to break, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, Play Action Pools, as they are revolutionizing group hosting platforms. Make it your new spot for all your football contest needs. Play today at playactionpools.com. By the way, we're going to have to get into that.
Yeah, we will.
Yes, we will. I didn't have the hottest of starts. I will admit that in the college football pick'em.
Yeah, this team called the Nebraska Cornhuskers really, bent us over a barrel a little bit.
Jeez. So. Yeah, that didn't look like the best pick ever. But don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL Where's the Line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Nebraska's only sports betting show. Hey, we're continuing this college football kickoff extravaganza.
Yeah, week one extravaganza.
Extravaganza. Okay, so we already talked Thursday night.
Yeah.
Let's get into some primetime Friday night matchups.
Heck yeah.
And once again, we got some dotted with Big Ten teams here.
Yeah.
Michigan State versus Western Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and TCU, Colorado.
Yeah.
Go out west a little bit, do some Big 12 and former Big 12 teams there.
Yep.
Colorado. But let's start right there with Sparty.
Yeah.
Western Michigan. This is a healthy line here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right at 23, the line is. Minus 23 towards Sparty, plus 23 for Western Michigan. And the over-under is sitting at 55 points.
Okay.
This one for me, Andy, is just setting up for a kind of a Michigan State route. As the line says, the line started at, low 20s, and it has been growing, a couple points every day.
I got 22.5.
Yeah, I can really see this at 24 points by kickoff of this game. I really think that they're going to, squeeze every ounce of pointed, towards Sparty's way just to get people betting on them. Here's a couple betting trends that I kind of wanted to go through on this one, Andy. Michigan State went 10-3 last year against the spread, meaning they, covered their spread 10 out of 13 times, which is a very, very good, line there. Michigan State also went 3-1 against the spread as a home favorite last year. That's pretty well, it's good. And one last thing I want to say is Western Michigan went 3-7 against the spread as a road underdog last year.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. That's 8 ATS is shorthand. So whenever you hear a guy say like, "Oh, they're 7-1 ATS," they're saying against the spread.
Yeah,
they beat the spread 7 times out of 8.
For sure.
That's what that's getting at. And Michigan State last year had a good record ATS, where Western Michigan didn't really. Yeah. They won a lot of games though.
Yeah, they did.
They went 8-5 last year. They had 2 wins over FBS schools.
Yeah,
conference champions. Pitt. Where have I heard Pitt before? I think they had a really good offense coordinator. So
They did.
And Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
And they also beat Nevada in a bowl game. I don't even remember what a bowl game is.
Yeah, never been to one. Not in my lifetime, I don't think.
And their head coach, Tim Lester, got a 2-year extension, well-deserved after that 8-5 campaign, and knocking off some pretty big opponents
For
there.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. No, Sparty definitely can't take these guys lightly, and I think they know that. So I really think that,
that's where you're coming from.
The whole thing is the Broncos are really, really replacing a ton of key contributors off that team that you were talking about.
Yeah.
They're Caleb Eby, and the Kansas City Chiefs superstar in the making, Sky Moore.
Right.
And also 3 offensive linemen. So overall, there are just 4 starters coming back from that potent offense that our guy had down there last year.
Losing Sky Moore, you lose a lot there. That over-the-top threat's gone now.
For sure. Michigan State may not replicate what they did in 2022, but
I don't think they will.
I really think they have just a pure skill advantage. Especially with returning receiver Jaden Reed, who had over 1,000 yards last year and might get off to a pretty good start here, putting over 100 on these guys. On defense, the Spartans do have 9 starters back from a really, really stout defense last year.
Okay.
And I'll bank on a good showing of them coming out and kind of stomping Western Michigan. And I'm not so far to say that 23 points, but if this does go the opposite way and go under 21, I would do that.
See, mine's at 22.5.
Yeah.
So the book I'm looking at right now might be trending that way for you. The over-under is still at 54.
Yeah.
Minus 110 either way. So I don't know what you're thinking with that.
Yeah. I just don't really like that number, Andy, with the over-under, because I don't know if Sparty's going to put up that many points. Right. I know that their defense is going to keep Western Michigan at bay, which, when you're looking at an over, you kind of want both teams to score a little bit. You just don't want it to be one route, because if it is, Michigan State wins 35-0. That's under by a lot.
I really like that, what you're saying there. I mean, this goes the exact opposite of the Oklahoma State Central Michigan game that we talked about.
Yes.
Where I like the over there, even though it was more than that, but you also had 2 offenses,
that can score.
High-flying offenses and not so much defense.
Yeah.
Here, you might have a defensive slug in Michigan State. That's what they do. They would love to just
shut you down.
Yep.
They shut you down and they win 24-0. They're fine with that. That's exactly what they want to do. Yep. So I really don't like the over-under. If anything, I'm trending on under there, Andy. Okay. If it's at 55, 54.5, wherever you find it, I would trend towards the under, but I don't know if I have the confidence to play either.
Right. I don't like that either. And when these point spreads get so stretched out, it's not that bad of a play. Just not to play.
Yes.
Just don't touch it, especially in week 1. Like, you don't have to get into it quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, we think Michigan State's going to win here, but there's no value in the money line. Nope. Most places won't even let you have it. Yeah. The money line right here is at minus 1,800 on my book, which is,
I don't even have the option.
Exactly.
Like
most people don't have the option, and that would be risking $1,800 to win $100. No value in that. So keep away from that. If anything here, bet the under, because that's the only thing that I see value in.
All right, so that's a 6 o'clock kickoff on the mothership ESPN.
Yes.
Let's move on over to Illinois versus Indiana. Yeah. Now, this is a little bit tighter here. We got a 3-point spread.
Here we
go. Indiana is the favorite. They're the home team, right?
Yep.
I got them at minus 150 on the money line. Over-under is at 45.
Yeah, no, like we said, there's another one of those week 1 Big Ten matchups that they like to do, with a couple of the under echelon teams in the league, pinning them against each other in the, early season to get, a little bit of flair, a little bit of, get to see your Big Ten teams against other Big Ten teams.
Yeah, give them the limelight here a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, I am trending a little bit towards Illinois. I really don't like taking this many road teams in week 1 already.
Yeah. But Illinois, they're the dog.
Right.
They're at +3.
Yes, they are. And I think it has a lot to do with Indiana playing at home here. I just do not have any faith in this Indiana team. I don't have a lot of faith in the Fighting Illini either.
No, it has to be a bounce back year for Illinois. Right?
It does, and the only reason I'm saying that is because we saw Illinois come out against Wyoming last week.
Yeah.
A spread that everybody thought that could have been a lot closer than it was, and they kind of routed Wyoming a little bit.
I thought the Cowboys would hang in there a lot better. 38-6, Illinois put it on them. Yeah. Chase Brown scored 3 touchdowns and rushed for 151 yards, while Tommy DeVito completed 27 of 37 passes for nearly 200 yards and 2 touchdowns as they just blew out the Cowboys of Wyoming.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm agreeing with you again here. This is why I like Illinois. I think they got the wrong team favored here. Illinois is going to beat Indiana because they had that week 0 tune-up back in my playing days for the old Peru State Bobcats.
Shout out.
There we go. We had a week 0 game against Southwest Minnesota. We lost that game, 21-37. Then we went back on the road to Wartburg, Iowa. Now, they're a Division III, Division II team.
Yeah.
They really put it on us, but we made a lot of money for the athletic department. So we had 2 games under our belt heading into week 2, and we put it on Iowa Wesleyan.
There you go.
63-22. I think that experience boded so well. We were so confident. We knew we had 2 games on our belt, although we lost. Yeah. However, I think Illinois is in the same boat here, going on the road. Conference foe, of a rivalry here. And they got it. They played well. They played great against Wyoming, and they got that experience under the belt. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. SF1 is where it's going to be televised. And I like the Fighting Illini. They're not going to burn me twice. They're not going to do it.
I don't think so, Andy. And like you were just saying, that was going to be my best bet of the segment. Is jumping on not just if you want the points, take the points. Take the +3 if you're scared of a road team coming in and beating a home team. But where I see the real value on this, Andy, is that my money line right now for the Illinois. 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to WTL, everybody. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran.
Oh, Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir. We're back.
We are talking college football.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking a lot of college football.
Yeah, all week.
I mean, and this is week 1.
This
is what matters.
It does.
I guess it was a week 0, but as Nebraska, fan or whatever, we're going to pretend maybe that didn't happen.
No week 0 for me.
Week slates. Yep, we're just going to clear the slate, and we're talking about week 1 now.
We are.
So strap in, get ready, here we go. Let's start with another Big Ten school here. Colorado State playing host to Michigan playing host to Colorado State.
Yep.
11 o'clock kickoff on ABC. And as you can imagine, this point spread is stretched out a little bit.
It's pretty far out there. Yeah, Michigan comes in as the favorite, a minus 30-point favorite. Over-under sitting at 61.5.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy, but for good reason, I believe.
Yep.
I really don't have a lot to go on here, Andy, but the Colorado State is 0-6 against the spread in its last 6 games overall. 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games, played on turf, if that goes into any strategic moves for you. That's pretty tough. The big thing for me is that Michigan went 10-1 against the spread in their last 11 games played. They're just a juggernaut.
Yeah, don't be scared of this stretched out point spread. They got a new coach, new quarterback over at Colorado State, the whole 9 yards. Coach, you might recognize Jay Norvell.
Yeah, Jay.
Old Nebraska boy.
Yep, exactly.
Came on over from Nevada last year.
Yeah, so he's getting a brand new team to try and go against there.
And he just named his starting quarterback Clay Millen, and he is a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's your first collegiate start with a new coach is going to be on the road at the Big House.
Yeah, that's gonna. It's quite the story.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how the story ends.
I guess I get the case made for both sides here, Andy. Not for Colorado State to win, but I really think that they might be able to put up some points. So my best bet of this segment is that I like that over, Andy. I like that 61.5 over.
Okay.
Some places I've seen that 50, 58.5, 59. I really like it. Michigan is gonna be always Michigan.
Yeah.
They're gonna be a heavy favorite at home on a season opener.
Yeah.
But like that being said, I really like them putting up a whole bunch of points. Michigan's fully capable of putting up 35.5.
Yeah.
So I really like this game to get in the 60s very easily.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. We mention it all the time, but, back in the day where Nebraska would have those big over-unders, big-time point spreads.
Yeah.
And you couldn't shy away from it because they would cover it every time, and they would put up those points.
Exactly.
And I think Michigan is in the same type of spot against Colorado State here for week 1. So I don't mind either one of those plays.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at another team in the Big Ten here. Wisconsin taking on Illinois State. What are they, the Cardinals?
Yes.
We got a 38.5 over-under. But a 33-point spread.
Yes, this is one of the weirder ones I've seen, and it's not on a lot of books, Andy.
No.
Like, you have to kind of dive deep into to find this one right now. But that is so weird when you see something like this, Andy, that they really think that Wisconsin's probably going to beat them by 35 points, but not any more than that. Because they don't like that over. They wouldn't set that over under there if they didn't mean it at 38.5. So they think that is it. I really would look into the over a little bit just because I really don't like teams to get shut out in week 1, especially when people are trying to find their bearings on, on
see
defense,
some different looks,
see some different
all
looks.
That stuff.
The other big thing is it's Wisconsin, and this is one of those teams that goes right down the middle. On ATS against the spread. They were 6-7 last year. They're always a very, very solid football team, but they don't,
they don't always cover.
They don't always cover.
No, they don't.
They're one of those teams that grind you out with their run game, and they'll beat you by 3. They'll beat you by 4. And
they're so prototypical Big Ten. It's just sick.
Yeah, I think they pretty much made the name, Andy, with that, with that, running game and all that stuff. The thing with Wisconsin as well is it's a new offensive coordinator in Bobby Ingram this year, and he kind of seems to want to air it out a little bit, and that's not really Wisconsin football, so I think it might be a little early to attest to that. So if I'm saying anything, if I'm saying it at all, Andy, is that I don't really like either of these plays. Because
it's a goofy line. It's a goofy line, and it's not in all books. My go-to, it's not there. And Illinois State, they're the Redbirds. So my apologies, they're not the Cardinals. And this game's going to be on FS1, 6 o'clock kickoff. And here's a big reason why we're not seeing a whole lot of action on this one, or action even being offered by the books out there. A matchup predictor powered by ESPN and their stat team. Has Wisconsin at a 97.4 percentile to win this game. Illinois State at 2.6. So there's just no value for anybody to touch this whatsoever. And if you could, it's a goofy line. It's pretty cattywampus.
Illinois State is an FSS team and not a very good one at that. So.
No. All right, so should we press fast forward a little bit here and get into a couple of big-time name brands with some new names, new places?
Yeah, let's get into some Florida State LSU action. Couple of, like you said, the biggest names in college football. Maybe not in recent years and all that kind of stuff, but really, I like this matchup. And is it on Sunday, Andy?
I think so. 5:30 at the Superdome. Can you believe they call that a neutral site?
Yeah. In New Orleans? Yeah.
It's going to be all purple and gold. Not all purple and gold, but quite a bit there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement around the LSU program, though they're coming off maybe a couple tough years.
For sure.
Brian Kelly takes over from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Everyone's expecting big things out of this offense. And oh, by the way, he's got a couple good quarterbacks, but we don't know if they're great quarterbacks. And I don't know. He kind of waffles on who's going to start.
Yeah.
That's a fun storyline as well.
For sure. Like we said, the line on this one, Andy, is sitting right at -3 towards LSU.
Yep.
I really think it's playing into that Mercedes Dome, being kind of the home favorite there, quote unquote home favorite. And the over/under sitting there at 51.5 points. This is a little tough one to call. I'm probably going to go try and go Florida State here. In their opener, the Seminoles ran all over the place with a whopping 406 rushing yards. It's not against a very good foe, but like we said in another segment, that we really like a team that got that week 0 experience.
Yes.
And has kind of worked out the kinks, know who their starters are, know who the guys that can be pieces are.
Exactly.
As LSU, it'll be an interesting one to see what the new head coach, Brian Kelly, does. They're going to need some tweaks on both sides of the ball, though. But if they can get their offensive line and run defense sharpened up, from last year, this team is going to be a good team.
And Florida State's head coach Mike Norvell, he came out and he straight up said, I think our win last week is setting us up very nicely for this matchup against LSU. And it is down south, so you probably are going to have a pretty good crowd from Florida State.
Yeah.
Make the trip, but it's going to be, it's just going to be slanted a little bit towards LSU like it always is in the Superdome here.
For sure.
And it's not an outrageous line. That's why we're talking about it. It's at that 3. It's a money line right there, man.
Line.
Yeah,
it's a fun line.
That 3 points. And I like Florida State. They got that game under their belt.
Yeah.
And they know kind of who they are. They've already been through it.
Yeah.
LSU, like you said, or you kind of alluded to, they have so many questions to answer. And I think one of the most important ones is who's your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And they're not letting anyone know. Maybe they know. Maybe
they probably know.
But
yeah,
it should be glaringly obvious, and all the beat reporters down there should have already, kind of told us or leaked that out.
Exactly.
So I'm feeling like it's still a competition. I don't know if that's where I want to be heading to a big game, week 1 against a team that's already have a game under the belt.
Yeah, like you said, for LSU, there's obviously some intriguing pieces to work with. So I think it's going to be a fun season for the Tigers as they work to get back to that bowl game, relevance, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And even in the hunt for the conference. But I don't think they're quite ready to cover here just yet. I think it's going to be a great game, kind of a coin flip game, but I do like the Florida State Seminoles with the +3 there. I really like it.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm agreeing with you again. I mean, and
happens every once in a while.
Hey. And welcome back to WTL. Where's the line, everybody? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran,
the Parlay Founder.
You know it.
And we are hammering through a week 1 college football extravaganza.
Yes,
right?
We are.
All righty. And, we had some fun matchups we talked about. Really peppered the Big Ten. Let's do a little rewind here.
Yeah.
I think enough time has passed.
Yep.
Can we talk about the old Huskers without jumping off a cliff?
We can now. You would have talked to me on Saturday. I was in a pretty dark place. But, I'm good to talk about them now.
Yeah, interesting game. It kind of, unfortunately, looked like a lot of games under Scott Frost over the last 4 or 5 years have looked like. Build a lead, figure out a way to give that lead away.
Yeah.
Twice, they were ahead by 11 points, covering that spread for me.
Yes.
And obviously gave it away and ultimately ended up losing. And there was a lot of national pub that I was reading, that I was looking into, straight up saying Northwestern winning outright isn't a bad bet. The value is there.
Yeah.
And they had the chops to do it. And what I was talking about last week was I felt like they had a huge advantage coaching-wise, and I don't know. Did we see that?
We definitely saw that, and I think Pat Fitzgerald's quote after the game really, put us into place. He said that one has a win. These teams one of them has a winning culture, and it really showed at the end of the game there.
Ouch.
And that was a big ouch, but it's a big true statement as well because these guys have been to the Big Ten championship multiple times.
Twice in the last 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, they go last in the Big Ten, first in the Big Ten, last in the first Big Ten, first in the Big Ten. So it looks like they're going to be one of those teams that, are a little better than, what we thought. But I really thought that hit it right on the head that one of these teams has a winning culture and one of them doesn't.
One of the damning things he said, and it probably wasn't as bad as that.
Yeah.
But it was just another, kind of knife in the side and twisting it.
Yeah.
Was, we went over, oddly placed, I forget how I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, we went over onside kicks, and I'm so glad they kicked it like that because I kicked one right to that spot 2 days prior.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a jerk! He prepared his team for something wacky coming his way.
Yeah, I guess he knows Scott Frost a little better than we do.
Came right at him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I agree, and I had to take a little bit of a humble pie, because I was big on the Huskers. I was big on the point spread.
Yeah.
I was telling people to bet it upwards of 14 points. And I really thought that we looked like that going out of the first two drives and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I really thought the defense was going to be a lot better than it was on Saturday, and they really let Northwestern just run all over us. It was crazy.
Last Thursday, when we were doing our show,
it
got bet up to a lot of books had it around 13 and a half. We saw some at 14.
Right.
But it started out at 11.
Yeah.
11 and a half. Then it started to climb, and interestingly enough, right before kickoff, it worked its way back down to 11.
Yes, it did.
And that was because 70% of the bets were all hyped up Husker fans.
For sure.
Putting the house on top of Nebraska there, saying they are going to cover. And it just had to come back down, and the money had to swing the other way.
Yep.
And books had to start sharing that because they weren't going to take on all that risk.
Definitely not.
Because Nebraska showed you they could. They could win by 14.
They could, and like we said, but this is the other coin. The flip side of that coin, Andy, is that we were telling everybody to get on the over as well, and that did hit.
That did hit.
Yes. But it hit for a different reason than I thought. I really thought that we were going to rout them. I didn't think that our defense were going to give up that many points.
Man.
So the over did hit, but for different reasons than I was thinking.
Yeah, Northwestern's offense came to life, albeit a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their quarterback slinging it around. What was he, like 8 for 8, 7 for 7 to start the game?
Yeah.
And I don't think he was ever seriously pressured.
No,
I didn't
never
see
once. No sacks.
No sacks.
No Big Macs for nobody.
No Big Macs for nobody. But I mean, wasn't that? I mean, Garrett Nelson and O'Shawn Mathis
Caleb Tanner,
all those guys, man, they look so good in hype videos, don't they?
Oh, man.
Those hype videos.
It gets you hyped.
Yeah, and it looks like, oh, wow, they're each going to have 2 or 3 sacks this game.
Yep.
Instead, it's just a bunch of nothing. And here, this was something I had against a gripe I would have against a lot of Bo Pelini coach defenses.
Yeah.
When they would give up points at the end of games, I'm like, what is going on?
Why are we doing this?
And it was when they would do that, what they call a mush rush.
Yeah.
So you're not getting pressure because you don't feel you have the defensive lineman to just straight up get pressure with 4.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to bring a 5th guy. You're not going to blitz. You're going to go coverage. But you're not covering anybody.
Right.
Those receivers were wide open at the end of the game.
Those crossing routes were killing us.
Oh. And
we would get them in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10 all the time, and they would just get 12, 15 yards.
Yeah, and I'm a defensive guy, so I hate to throw shade at the defense, but they were gassed. It wasn't all their fault. I'm sticking up for them here. Time of possession, just like Pat Fitzgerald was talking about, the winning culture, they possessed the ball, they ran the ball extremely well, and they dictated pace to Nebraska.
He knows how to manage a game, and he did it. He did it perfectly against us.
He does, but Nebraska, you saw.
Oh, yeah.
The pieces come together in that first half.
No, you definitely did.
Oh, man, that opening drive, Casey Thompson, he was putting it on spots.
He was.
I mean.
Yeah, Casey led the way in the first half, and just, in the game in general, completing 25 out of 42 passes for 355 yards. You probably take that.
Yeah.
And in one touchdown. Anthony Grant led the way for the Huskers, totaling just 101 yards and 2 scores on 19 carries. A lot, but but our run running got stood up at the line so many times. A lot of those came on one run. I think he broke like a 45-yarder or whatever. So that 100 yards is pretty skewed there.
It is. And we didn't see Rahmir Johnson like we were supposed to.
And Frost came out and said that this week, that Rahmir's too good not to play. So where was he?
So
where was it? Why weren't we trying different stuff? Why are we just getting stood up at the line all the time on the running? But the big glaring thing for me, Andy, really was the defense not getting pressure, especially when they just hyped us up all off season long. These defensive interior guys. Yeah. That's our best group. These are our best returning guys. We are rushing the passer this year, and then we don't blitz on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. I don't understand. Northwestern doesn't have a pass rush at all, and they still hit Casey.
Right.
I don't know. 10, 15 times.
I mean, our biggest highlight play was when he was taking on a ton of pressure.
Exactly.
Leaded the rush, bought time.
A crazy play.
Crazy play that set up a touchdown.
Yep.
And then all that great momentum erased by a boneheaded call that Scott Frost, I mean, believe him or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we're at with this.
Yep.
He's saying it was all me. And it does make you feel like he was the kid not getting picked at recess, right?
Yeah.
Or, he was getting ignored in a conversation at a party.
Yeah.
And he had to get his 2 cents in there.
No, exactly.
It's just so obvious.
It just felt like he had that, that mentality that, Whip's calling all the plays, and I'm not really getting to do anything. So
Shin's doing his thing.
I have to talk to the special teams coordinator now, and we came up with this great idea. We're up 11, and we kick an onside kick. I know that everybody's beating a dead horse on this all across the nation.
Of course.
But it really was a bonehead move.
Yeah.
It really...
There's no need for it at
There's
that
no
point.
upside, really, for Nebraska, and it's under a 5% chance even if we get to get the ball. And it really doesn't help us on the other side of the field anyways.
And talk about a huge contradiction. Scott Frost in his explanation, after the game saying, well, I felt we were the better team. If you felt you were the better team,
you don't onside.
Yeah, you sit on your 2-score lead and force Northwestern to drive the entire field. Like, if you're the team that's inferior and you feel you need to make a move,
you do gimmicks.
Then you do it. I mean, if that was Ohio State and we're holding on to that 11-point lead,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I don't like doing it in that situation either.
No, man. Like you don't get to play with house money.
No.
In that spot, Scotty F.
No.
I was disappointed.
And even if and especially in a neutral site across, overseas, I can maybe see that happen in Memorial Stadium, but I still don't like it there.
Oh, no, I don't either.
But at least you might get the momentum back, in Lincoln or whatever, but I still don't like the call no matter what, and I hate boiling a play down to an entire game, but
it was
a real gut punch, and so was our fumble within the 10-yard line that really, you didn't look like a fumble, but they called it that way, and
can't overcome it though.
We couldn't overcome it, just like we haven't been able to in recent years.
No. So moving on to this week, this line's kind of all over the place, kind of stretched out a little bit. Nebraska's a 22.5-point favorite over North Dakota. Where are you going with this one?
Well, a lot of people are probably going to say, what the hell are you doing? But I really, really like against this North Dakota team. Yeah. I really think, Whip is going to really kind of put his stamp on this game and really boast the offense a little bit.
Yeah.
And I really think our defense is, going to be able to handle these guys. That's pretty, shoddy.
Learn how to tackle.
Shoddy for me to say that. But I really do see this game going to about a 42-12 win for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
All right, so you like that over.
I do.
You like Nebraska covering there. Now, there's not a lot of information out on this, and it's very limited as to what you can kind of bet on here and what's out there for us.
For sure.
And what I'm looking at is a score predictor indicator saying North Dakota at 18.8, Nebraska 33.1, bringing that estimated line up to 51.9.
Yeah.
You were kind of thinking this might get up around 54, 55.
Yeah. The line, getting into Saturday, they usually tend to tack on a few more points on these games that it's against, a lesser. I shouldn't say lesser, but
we don't get that grace anymore.
No, we don't get that grace anymore. The one thing that I'm looking at, Andy, is that the total has gone over in 6 of Nebraska's last 8 games. I really think that it's probably going to hit here.
I think you're right.
This is a must-win situation,
in
enduring fashion. His job is on the line right now, and that's really where the line is, Andy. Yeah. Where's the line on the Scott Frost meter? Is he going to get fired or isn't he? He's going to have to do something in these 2 games to kind of win back those people. I know that these are quote-unquote sellout games, these next 2 games, but they're going to really have to show something for people to turn out in that Oklahoma game to think that we have a chance at winning it.
Yeah, and in that our VSiN, our guys out in Vegas, that college preview that I was looking at, and we quote from time to time. When this was written, back in late August, it was predicted that North Dakota would be a 24-point dog.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear the timer there. So we're up against it, but they were a 24-point dog at that point. So we're already seeing it come down to 22.5.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna, we'll see movement once again here before kickoff.
Yep.
But that just tells you that cappers, bookies are already losing faith in the Huskers, and I think they saw more than enough to make that move. But I'll go with you on this one too. Why not? Huskers, come on. Down. You got to do it.
I just really think we have to defend home field here and really put our stamp on that. We can't give up on these kids just yet. That was a hard game. I know that we weren't giving it the kind of the respect it needed for Northwestern being a 2-time in the last 5 years in the Big Ten championship.
I wouldn't take them away.
I know, but I'm just saying from my personal way that I was looking at it, I really wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at the shiny new pieces that Nebraska has, and I really think that it's going to take a little while to get these guys going, hopefully in these 2 next games, so we're ready for Oklahoma when they come to Lincoln.
I like it a lot. I like that a lot. And back to the Northwestern thing real quick. What really helped you turn me over on that one was I looked into Northwestern more and more, and they had a lot of question marks too.
No doubt about it.
I thought they lost their best defensive player to the portal to Notre Dame.
They did.
They're coming off a big losing season. I know they do the back and forth thing, but come on. It is what it is. They had a terrible season. They lost some important pieces.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. They still beat Nebraska. Congratulations. On to North Dakota, and we both like them covering here this week. Come on, Big Red. You got to do it for us.
Go Big Red.
All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to throw it to break real quick, but when we come back, we got some monster matchups Saturday for you. Nothing but ranked teams coming up. Oregon, Georgia,
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL.
1.
And welcome to WTL, everybody. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking college football, and we're getting into some ranked teams here for week 1. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Georgia, Oregon, Cincinnati, Arkansas, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Yes.
Everybody ranked within the top 25. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, no, this is awesome, Andy. Just to get this many top 25 teams to play against each other in week 1. This really sets a tone for college football, and I believe that's the reason they're doing it. ABC's getting 2 of these matchups, and ESPN's getting the other. So everybody's going to be able to watch these games, and they're going to be, on show for the whole nation to see. So pretty exciting.
Yes, sir.
Let's start out with the defending national champions, Georgia, playing host to Oregon.
Oregon, yes. Number 3, Georgia, squaring off with number 11, Oregon. That's a 2:30 kickoff on ABC.
Yeah.
And I know you have some thoughts on this one.
Yeah, for sure. The defending national champions will face their former defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning, who will make his head coaching debut for Oregon against his former team.
Welcome.
I think that's kind of thrown him to the wolves right away, Andy. The Ducks are coming off a 10-4 season in 2021.
So not bad.
Including a Pac-12 championship appearance.
Not bad at all.
Pretty good. The line right here on this one, Andy, it's at 17 points favoring the Georgia Bulldogs. Over-under's at 53 right now.
That's what I got.
Yeah, I know.
There's no value on that money line either.
No, you can't.
I mean,
the one thing here that I'm really looking at, Andy, Oregon State, Oregon quarterback and Auburn transfer, Bo Nix, is no stranger to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. Nix is a very good athlete, world-class athlete, but he has never been able to get a win versus the Dogs, and I don't think that changes this weekend.
No.
I believe that the Georgia Bulldogs defense will be too much for the Ducks. That's why I would take the Georgia 17.5 points, 17 points, wherever you find it, and I believe it's probably going to go under. My prediction for this game is going to be 38-10 Georgia.
Okay, so they cover, but they don't hit that over.
Yeah.
A little reason for hope, though, for the Ducks.
Yeah.